confidential information.
His career in the process. The media didn't
Think anything on VICAP? It's also symbolic, used to punish liars and anti-regime activists. The victim showed signs of sexual assault. Was a Pilates instructor, and Nicole was a... This is a spree. Why is he taking time to collect souvenirs? All right, cut her some slack. She's excited. Her son is potty trained.
I wish I...
Personal blog about how much she likes pain. She describes it as the best foreplay.
Technically, the unsub is the one that rescued Nicole from the...
Found in a local park under a tree. That tells us he's most likely socially awkward by psychopathology.
Once he establishes his dominance by subverting that fantasy, then he moves on to step 2, which is removing the tongue.
Lit?
While writing therapy.
What do you mean by properly?
If this treatment...
What were they doing instead? He was fixated on strangulation.
So,
Mom's writing seems to be the only common to fit his needs.
mother that her boyfriend had been abusing him.
Let me guess, when Child Protective Services arrived, she changed her story. Explains the tongues, he viewed all women as liars. The semantics in these two writings are markedly different. They were all composed by different authors. Out in the park, Nicole's night, Laurel's open window. Sound familiar? It's about saving a woman named Tammy from drowning in a lake. Looks like she's a swimmer.
Connection between them.
Both men were... But there's no sign of sexual assault or robbery. Home repairman who'd lived in the neighborhood for years.
Victim number 2 rank.
Message is personal.
You know, 98...
Better than any mark.
Up a hell of a fight.
Yeah, looks that way.
So we were right?
But to intention.
Maybe our unsub didn't know. Rango could have been the victim of opportunity, like the jogger.
You must have worn glints.
This guy was mission-oriented. He even stole the disc before he left. There were probably kids in here. They're lucky they didn't get hurt.
Knock on every...
I mean, everyone. After my dad,
Into this kind of rage.
Where's Buford now?
we got him locked up for...
And his victim selection shows us his murders are not planned in advance. By exposing his victims and scrawling the phrase Buford used during his sexual assaults at the crime scene as child molesters, which is his justification for killing them. I believe it's one of Buford's former victims. Is that really what you want?
I ain't no snitch. I'm not telling you.
This could be the same killer. Harder into Charlie Fig's history either. Potential murders aren't jumping off the page.
A second set of tire tracks back in the conference room.
Knew Charlie Fig best.
Exemplary family man.
Sheriff, I'm not...
Under the... Yeah, his father kept him on a short leash.
Thanks, Morgan.
Single unsub.
Wait.
Patients to wait 25 years. That's uncommon.
You think locking the window's gonna stop?
Try to hold your question.
Joe, you may have spooked him now.
Sheriff, this wasn't
He said that's what the ex-mayor told me. Burke was the perfect student who turned out to not be so perfect. Would reflect this type of mindset. Artisans, those who work long hours in solitude, perfectionists. Collecting heads again for a purpose. We think the unsub is preparing for his next statement.
After the incident, the only thing he would be good.
The $30,000 was hush money. Kirkwood, that's less than an hour north of you.
Wait, Bert.
Where's your daughter now?
She moved to the other side of the state. We hadn't heard one word from her since.
Thanks to the price tag from my husband. Or she changed her identity again because I can't find her.
What's that?
The rape case file from night.
Was there this whole time?
I took a chance that maybe that's what happened this time. His wife, Sandy, showed me where he kept him.
This is a rape victim statement. King Hodge.
The unsub... The unsub
I
didn't...
need you to check the crime blotter column.
As I can tell, he cooled his heels in jail overnight.
We need his name, Garcia.
His name's Tori Chapman.
It's off.
What do you mean?
Listen to this. He took me in the back room and I was really, really scared. Then he started to, you know, take my clothes off. I just tried to, and when he was finished, I ran. And she uses the word just, which minimizes what follows. And down here, he started to take my clothes off.
And started...
He felt that he and Leanne were given a raw deal. So what do we know about these cases? Demands of logging, that description could apply to a majority of men in the area. Both men disappeared overnight. Did anyone interview family members?
This and
For someone in the medical community. The ME said the circular marks were pre-mortem and the victims were held around 48 hours. This could be about torture. Open door policy. Apparently things got pretty wild.
Pesticide.
Are there other
Excuse me? The cups you used for this therapy?
You think this is what...
The cups are than what I've seen before. These have the same coloring and build. This Is this all about fertility? May have died or been taken away in a custody situation.
If the unsub lured these men away with the promise of sex, they probably...
Tell me, how many guys would do that?
You know, this town caters to tourists. There's no shortage of lodging.
Each of them, clearly, she dissociated from the event. We've contacted...
Done. But no matter where he grabs them,
It obviously means something significant, but what? Patient, there's no connection between these victims.
There's need to commemorate the anniversaries.
Well, the first time is usually the most significant. It's a long time. Phoebe's barely 2.
Gina stayed on, both for her parents when she was a teenager.
But the other family said the same thing about their nannies. She was more than just an employee. She was almost like family.
Well, it's not uncommon to form that kind of bond with your child's caregiver.
But what if the connection that they have with the children is what sparks the unsub's interest? Maybe it's not just about them being nannies. He could be keying in on the relationship itself.
On that, I'll have Reed and Rossi read.
If he sticks to his schedule, Phoebe could turn up soon. These are the previous victims, and they had nothing to add to their original statements. But why take the time, effort, and risk to return all the other kids just to kill this one? We profiled him as a sexual sadist with rage issues. The children have no value to him. It's the nannies he wants.
Then the nannies are collateral damage.
Why wouldn't he just grab the children then? His ultimate objective is the kid, then he may abandon his schedule altogether. That loss may be related to some kind of long-term stressor in his life. Still working with Tara, she thinks she might be able to describe the unsub enough to get a composite sketch.
From Dallas, but she never...
Before Allison started in pharmaceuticals, she was a corpsman in the Navy. She probably witnessed Tara's abduction and tried to intervene. She did say he had a dog, and there were bite marks on Allison Astor's leg. Call soon.
If this guy is planning